Hey guys, Mr. Bowman here. Today's learning objective is in blue and we are learning to write probability notation. I've got a new Pokemon. We've moved away from the Kanto region. If you know this guy's name, maybe put him in the comment section below, see how many of us can get it. But back to our learning objective of probability notation. The idea of notation, it's the language that we use when we're dealing with probability. So I guess another way to put it is it's our probability language. And there's 5 particular events that we need to be aware of when we're writing down this notation, when we're communicating our language in our probability language. So there's 5 here. We've got regular questions, we've got not questions, and questions, or questions, and then finally we've got conditional questions. I've got an example for each. I'm going to write down the notation for each of them just to highlight the way we need to communicate our answers when we're dealing with probability. So the first one, regular events. These are single events, and if you have a look at our question, the probability of getting a tail when flicking a coin is 0.5. So just one thing is happening. We're flicking one coin and it's landed on a tails. So when we're doing our notation, we're going to focus on the variable of interest, and a shortcut for that is often the first letter. So often we will refer to tail as T. So the probability, so that P there stands for probability, and in brackets, we're going to write down the event that we're interested in. So the probability of tails is equal to 0.5. So that there would be our language, that probability language we're trying to get across. So probability of tails is 0.5. Now, this one's very close, not scenario, so what we're looking at next, the probability of not getting a tails. So not is the only difference between this and the first question is 0.5. We know that not a tail is heads, but let's talk about our probability language though. So we know that this is a T for tails, and when you're looking at not that, we put a little apostrophe. So that T dash means not T. So the way we do this, the probability of not T, so T dash, is equal to 0.5. You probably could have got away with doing a probability of heads for that question because we know not a tail is heads, but based on the wording of the question, we're looking for not tails. That's the not one. We've now got our and this is, we're going to look a bit complicated. So the probability of passing your French and your German exams is 0.75. So the French, probably going to use the first letter there, F, and we'll use G for German. And this one's going to be very different. So the probability of passing your French, so we've got F, and then hopefully you can see this kind of upside down U, almost looks like a horseshoe. That symbol there means and in probability. So probability of F and G is equal to 0.75. We're now moving on to or. The probability of passing your French or German exam is 0.5625. That means you're passing one of them, not necessarily both. So one might have passed both as well. So similar thing, probability of French, and this is where it's going to be different. We're now turning our symbol upside down. That means or. Probability of French or German is equal to 0.562. Oh, we've got those numbers around. 5625. And if you're wondering, a lot of people forget the difference between these. The way I remember it, this one looks like an N, which and has in it, which means the other one is or. Okay, finally, if you passed your maths exam, so we know we've passed the maths exam. That is 100% certainty. We know that without doubt. The probability of passing your science exam is 0.99. So this one's a bit different. So we're interested in whether or not you passed your science exam. And we're going to put a big line if you passed your maths exam. So that is saying the probability of passing science given you passed maths already is equal to 0.99. And that symbol there, that kind of means given that. So the first one we're curious about, so we're not sure about that. But the second one, that's already happened. We know you've passed the maths exam. So guys, hopefully you found this video on probability notation interesting. We went through the 5 particular scenarios: regular, not, and, or conditional. Just a reminder, this language we use is really important in probability, particularly when you get to more advanced levels as well. Thank you so much for watching, guys. And don't forget, try to name that guy in the comments. See how many of us can get him.